and thousands of hours of work and input and conversation among the folks in this room and many folks across this campus in the community. So today is a good day. Let me say at the beginning that we may not always agree on the outcome, but I do appreciate the process, and I appreciate the involvement and commitment that each one of you has shown to this process. And so what I hope today is that you see that the result of this good process is an outcome that is going to help you and your colleagues do an even better job than you already do in making a difference in the lives of our students. And what I mean by a better job, to give you the resources in many ways that we have not been able to give you to date to make an impact and to build that best environment for student success. So what I want to share with you this morning is an update on that partnership with Aramark. I want to share with you a report that we shared yesterday in the Board of Trustees meeting, and I'd like to walk you through how we got to the place we are today and where we're going to go. We have some of our colleagues, our partners from Aramark here. We'll introduce them near the end of this presentation and then have some conversations about how the rest of the day is going to go as well. So let me dive right into the presentation. When we start this, it's important to get a frame of those key dates, where we are in this process and where we're going to go. If we look at September 12th of 2013, that's when the RFP was released. That was the final stage of this process that really takes us back to October of 2012 when the institution first started these discussions. In November of 2013, the RFP responses were received. We received 3 responses to the request for proposal. In February, just a few months ago, the university announced it would begin discussions with 2 responders to that RFP. One was found to not be as responsive as the other 2, and so we started dual-track negotiations with those 2 responders. Then in May, just about a month ago, the university announced our intention to move forward with contract negotiations. And then in June, just yesterday, June 10th, the university presented an FCR, which is a Finance Committee resolution, which is a document which asks the Board of Trustees to approve the capital investment in the campus, which I'll describe in a moment, as well as some transfer of the food truck and various pieces of equipment to our new partner, Aramark. The last point, the asterisk there at the end, is the very important one as well. We have Bill Harris with us, who y'all have met before, our Chief Procurement Officer here in the front. Bill helped lead this process. This process is consistent with the Model Procurement Code of the Commonwealth of Kentucky, and as we do in all of our processes in the Office of Purchasing. When we evaluate these partnerships, we look at 4 items: the term, the length of the term of an agreement, the return, the amount of commissions that comes back to an institution, the level of investment that a partner is willing to make in the university, and lastly, the program. What are those important components that we want to make sure we're always focused on and recognizing as we think about these partnerships? So the most important component for us was the program component. And when we talk about program, we're really talking about these 7 items. Our employees, you, meal plans, brands and variety, nutrition and wellness, sustainability, an academic partnership, which I look forward to sharing the details with you in just a few moments, and key performance indicators. This is who we are. So over the next few weeks, we are going to transition to a new partnership with Aramark. This is going to be our new logo. We're not going to be Aramark or some other company name. We're not going to be UK Dining Services. We're going to shorten that a little bit, and we're going to be UK Dining. But on July 1st, our goal is this is an image or a logo that's going to represent us, but this is who we are going to transition to, And this is that logo that's going to represent us starting July 1st. And when we think about those program considerations, what our first focus, and you've heard me talk about this consistently, and a decision that was made now, I believe, over a year ago, that the number one priority when we considered this partnership was you, our full-time employees. And so we had, at that time, I think about 117 or so full-time University of Kentucky dining employees. We said at that point that you could remain, should we move into a partnership, UK dining employees. So you would still work for the university, you still have the benefits and the pay that you have now. It would be your choice. That is in the contract that we hope to sign in the coming days. So nothing has changed on that. The full-time employees, and that was of about February of 2013. Since that time, we've hired 3 full-time employees since February of 2013. Those 3 employees are covered as well. So all of our full-time employees, should they remain, should you like to remain university employees, you will work for our partner. You will work within that environment. Your management team may change. We're going to go through the process, which we'll describe later, of having meetings individually with each one of you to understand more about what you do now, what you may want to do in the future. So let's look at this not only as a change, which I know is not sometimes the thing we wake up in the morning we're excited to do, but also let's think about this as an opportunity. Let's look in ways in which maybe there's other things that you wanted to do that you haven't been able to do, or there are things that we can, and you have ideas and thoughts of how we can do it better compared to what we've already done. So let's use this as an opportunity. The commitment from the university remains. You can remain a UK employee and have all the pay and benefits that you have today. So no change there, same as we've been talking about. Lastly, as we talk about our employees, we wanted to understand what was the future growth pattern when we look at our employees, not only full-time, but also from a student employee standpoint. You have done an amazing job, UK Dining Services, in building a culture where students want to work within the dining operation. That is not the same at some other institutions. Y'all should receive, and y'all do receive, a lot of credit for that. So how do we ensure that that great process, that great outcome we have today remains? And so we've had great conversations with Aramark about that. Over the course of the next 3 years, we expect the number of full-time employees to more than double. We expect the number of student employees to grow as much as 10%. So the focus here is not only on sustaining the great environment that you've already built, but how do we grow upon that and grow from that? A next very important consideration for us is our meal plan and our meal plan value. And what you'll see on this slide is, I believe, an amazing story, and one that's going to allow us to reposition our dining enterprise and allow us to connect more with our students, to generate a lot more interest in our meal plan and a lot more ability to serve our students. When we look at this slide, what you see is meal plan pricing that will go down for this fall across all meal plans. So if we're at the $2,841 meal plan, that's going to be $2,100 this fall. The blue plan goes down by 24%, white by 15%, champion by 4%, wildcat by 4%, and the minimum 7 by 2%. What's the meaning of these numbers? When we talk about that $2,100 meal plan, we're talking about a per meal price going down from somewhere in the low 7s to about $5.04 a meal. So tremendous value. And I think at this slide, let me mention one other thing. We all have various experiences or thoughts about what we've seen at other institutions, maybe when they've transitioned from a self-operation to a partnership. But let me be really clear on what we're going to do at the University of Kentucky. The goal of this partnership is that best environment for student success is to serve our students at a higher level than we've been able to serve them thus far, and we're not going to do that by cutting quality. We're not going to do that by squeezing down on labor. We're doing this by a growth opportunity. So what is referenced here and what's recognized also in this slide is the ability to serve more. It's the ability to have more of our students on our meal plan. It's the ability to have a higher level of the retail capture. Rather than eat at home, we want them to eat with us. And when we talk about these dining halls, and I'm going to share with you the new commons in a moment, we don't want those to just be a place that a student goes to eat. We want them to be a destination for community, for the experiences, for the memories that those students are going to have forever. Not only in the 4 years that they're here, but remember they're 20 years from they're not here. And so that's what we're going to be able to do, and that's one of the real advantages of our partnership. Brands, this morning I was looking at my Twitter account, and Willie Cauley-Stein tweeted this morning, in fact Penny retweeted it, that is Panera really coming to campus? The answer is yes. So Panera Bread Company is coming to campus. Will be the first college or university to have a Panera Bread Company. We're excited about that. We're excited that our partner has been able to bring that to the table. Why is that important? Because we're listening to our students. So based on the last few years and various survey instruments that we've engaged our students with, they said the number one brand they want is Panera Bread Company. So on our new commons, we're going to be able to bring it. Up there you also see Taco Bell Express, which we know is of great interest to our students. You see some of the same brands that we've seen before. Some new ones in Einstein Brother Bagels, which is a great product if you haven't had it. Rising Roll Gourmet. And let me reference also two names on this slide that are local. Common Grounds and Aqua Sushi. Two local companies. Common Grounds has about 4 locations in town, so we would be their 5th location. And Aqua Sushi is affiliated with the Bluegrass Hospitality Group, Malone's, Drake's, and that group of restaurants, and they would be on our campus as well. In the upper right, let's not look past one thing that's very important, another tribute to the environment that you and your colleagues have built, and that's Kentucky Proud. And I'm going to talk about that in more detail of what our commitments are to that program in just a moment. Nutrition and wellness. So we're not going to tell our students what to eat, but we do want to give them the tools to make the best decisions for them. And so what do I mean by that? It's a MyFitnessPal app. It's menu boards that are talking about the nutrition and wellness information behind the food. It's the opportunity for a student to know more about what he or she is eating. And so this is an advantage and an opportunity for us to bring more data, more information to our students for them to make the best decision for that individual student. And as I referenced, this year, the University of Kentucky's Dining Services is going to do approximately $1.8 million. When I say this year, I'm talking about this fiscal year, which ends June 30th. About $1.8 million in Kentucky Proud and local purchasing. That's an amazing, amazing number and a tribute to the great work that you've done. But as I've mentioned, it's not about just sustaining that and requiring a partner to achieve that. How do we do more? How do we grow beyond that? And so the commitment next year is $2 million. Then it's a 5% growth rate thereafter. We hope by the end of the term, we expect by the end of the term, to be at about 25% of our total food purchases. If we look back the last 3 to 5 years, we're in about the 20% range. So growth on that as well. Sustainability, so let's move beyond just talking about Kentucky Proud and local purchasing as clearly a component of sustainability, but how do we do even more when we think about sustainability? New construction, sustainable construction. A full-time sustainability coordinator will be hired and be on the staff. And that full-time dining sustainability coordinator will liaison with the university sustainability coordinator, will liaison with some city efforts. We see that as a great opportunity for our dining as well as for the university. And then we'll look at some green thread business practices, as they're called. There's a lot of advantages of a partnership. One advantage is Aramark is not just looking at the University of Kentucky when we think about sustainability. They're looking at the several thousand clients they have today. And so how do we take advantage of that? How do we understand what Alabama's doing, or what Florida's doing, or what Tennessee's doing, or what Ole Miss is doing, or what Mississippi State's doing? How do we look at all those examples and look at what we can do here? And that's one of the advantages among many that our partner brings to the table. This is an exciting slide, and it's one that we believe is unprecedented in higher education. So let me talk a little bit about it. It's entitled An Academic Partnership. So once again, the frame of this conversation is the greatness of what you and your colleagues have been able to achieve. The lemon tree, the butcher shop, these opportunities to work with the College of Ag and other elements across the campus. So we challenged our two finalists in this process to think about a way where we can honor our land grant mission at the University of Kentucky, and that we can look to institutionalize thoughts and work on a regular basis about what's the next lemon tree, or what's the next butcher shop, what's the next opportunity to transform and to think about food differently, to think about farm to table, to think about local, to think about maybe a living learning program, to think about how we bring K through 12 students in and go to maybe one of our College of Ag farms, and then they're able to see how we bring that and we serve it to our students. So it's a concept. It's funded with a $5 million commitment from Aramark, but what evolves is going to be based on a lot of conversations throughout this summer on this campus with our faculty, with our College of Ag and Food and the Environment, and with some of you. So we're real excited about what this can become and how we can fund something that every day we have folks thinking about what's that next step. How do we take that next step? And lastly, when we talk about program, we're talking about some key performance indicators, and let me just call them KPIs. So KPIs, Bill Harris will tell us, are not unusual in a contract. And what we're doing here is, of course, everything in that contract we have to achieve. There's obligations upon the university, and there's obligations upon our partner. But we've pulled out 5 areas of even greater importance to the university that we're going to focus on. And these are the 5: employees, Kentucky Proud, customer satisfaction, food, investment, or that's that academic partnership, and nutrition and wellness. So for example, there's a section in the agreement that says at a certain date each year, if we do not have more employees and student employees than we did the last year, then Aramark would have to pay us a financial penalty. And so what we've done is we put KPIs, which as I mentioned is not unusual, but we've attached penalties to those should those not be met. So we don't expect to move in that direction or to have that conversation, but we wanted to ensure the importance of those items within our contract. Next, we're moving away from program and we're moving into the area of investment. And so when we think about investment, and I understand this image may be hard to read, but we're going to have plenty of conversations about this. Let me mention the number in the bottom left corner. The amount of investment in facilities at the University of Kentucky from our partner is $70 million. So it's just an amazing opportunity to make a difference and to have some of the resources that we've not been able to have thus far. Just take a look at that slide for a moment. The story of this slide is that almost every single dining facility across the campus will be impacted. A number of these facilities will be impacted before the end of August this year. So an impact for our students as they return this fall. So let me walk you through a few of these. But before I give you some pictures and some detail, I wanted to mention the construction requirements. Our partner will pay prevailing wage on all construction. That's what we're required to do, so our partner is required to do as well. All new construction will have a sustainability or a footprint attached, if you will. It's called LEED certification. So there'll be a LEED certification to any new facility, which means we're meeting certain standards that help protect the environment. A partner will make a good faith effort, and that's a legal term. That's an obligation upon our partner to ensure that minority business and women-owned businesses have an opportunity to participate in subcontracting opportunities. And our partner will bring 100% equity or cash. There's not going to be any debt to these facilities. So a lot of these items are modeled on our partnership in housing with EDR. And so these are the same rules and procedures that our partner will live within as well. So let's talk about a few of the facilities. So K-Layer is coming back. I don't know if that's a good thing. I think we got some claps there. I like that. So K-Layer is coming back. The reaction and response we get from our students about that is just amazing. And so K-Layer will be in Hagen Hall. It'll be almost in the exact same location as it was before. I think I understand some of the old favorites are coming back. I never got to have some of these old favorites, so Scott's been telling me how great they are, so I gotta try some. Now we're gonna give students the nutrition information, so they may know it's 1,000 calories for that honey bun, but we'll see if that impacts sales. But also there'll be some new menu items as well, a Kentucky Proud core menu. We'll have about 280 seats in the new K-Layer, which will be in Hagen, so it'll be a sizable facility. Here's kind of a look. It'll be similar to this, but this is a fast-track project. This is a project that we want to have open, and we want to have open this fall. Champions Court 1. So we have our two great residence halls going up right here, not too far from us, off of Avenue of Champions. The first one on Avenue of Champions, or Euclid, is Champions Court 1, on that location that faces the street, in some ways faces the Student Center. There's an opportunity for a dining facility. So we're going to have what's called the Study North. And for those of you who recall what we have at Commons that we call the Study, I guess is on the second floor, Scott? Third floor. And so on this space, we'll have the Study North, a smaller version of that study that'll be on the lower level of Champions Court, and we'll have a Common Grounds coffee house within that same space. So this will be a great opportunity for a local product at the campus. It'll have coffee, tea, espresso. It's locally owned, Kentucky Proud support, and it's a new brand, a new opportunity for the university. The next slide is about our Student Center. So for those of you who do not know, we plan to have our Student Center, the facility we're in right now, operational for about one more year, maybe a little less than a year. We're in a massive planning process right now as we're going to vacate the current Student Center, remove some sections of it, keep that 1938 historical section, keep the alumni gym, and then we're going to rebuild our Student Center. It's about a $175 million project. It's an amazing transformation for the campus in this location. But we're not going to wait, and that is not going to hinder us from doing some things to improve the environment and the options, the brands, and the choices for our students for this fall. So Say Cheese would go away, and in that spot would be a Greens to Go. So healthy product, a local product, primarily Kentucky Proud product, fresh salads made right there. Choose your protein, choose your toppings, tossed right there in front of you. It's called Greens to Go. That'll be the first thing our students see. as they enter into that Student Center food court. Likely some other changes in that food court will reduce what I call the world's largest Sbarro, and get that maybe a little bit smaller, maybe move the subway in there and have that subway out of the hall, if you will. A little better flow, better opportunity. So we'll have some more conversations about that, but we've had a number of those thus far, and our partners looked at that and looked at other institutions they're partnering with and try to understand what works best here based on student feedback. But some changes now. I appreciate our student body president, who's just finishing his term, Rashawn Polly. If y'all got to know Rashawn as he's been in the Student Center for the last year or so. And one thing he talks a lot about is it's wonderful all these transitions we're making. And the place that we're going to be and how we're going to look in 2017 and 2018 is amazing. And we're all part of this great transformation. But let's not lose sight of the student experience of today. And so that's why we're going to spend some funds in the Student Center. That's why we're going to spend some money in Blazer. That's why we're going to spend some money in Commons. All three of those facilities will be touched before this fall. Blazer, we hope to have operational for several more years until the Student Center comes back, and then that dining facility will move into the Student Center. So in the Student Center, we may have 60,000 square feet of dining space in our new Student Center. Just a huge, a tremendous opportunity, retail as well as that residential program. But also, let's look for opportunities to expand on existing locations as well as to have some new locations. So when we think about Anderson right now, we have, as you know, a small food operation over there. We'll transition from that operation to a rising roll, gourmet sandwiches. We go to the multiple day parts. We can get to the breakfast day part a little better than we can get to right now. A little more space as well. Dean Walls, or Dean of the College of Engineering, is very excited about this possibility and this prospect. Our goal would have to have this in place for the fall as well. Additionally, we get a new location. In the Chem Physics building, we are going to put an Einstein Brother Bagel. And so this is a location of the campus that's very underserved. We know from our student traffic patterns that we're not able to serve them well now, and we don't have a lot of dining options. So this allows us to serve this area. It's a new retail brand. We get to the 2 day parts as well, breakfast and lunch. And there's a great cross-section of menu items. How many of you have been able to eat at Einstein Brothers Bagel? So quite a few. So it's a good product. It's some new menu items for us as well there. The last one I want to highlight, there's a number of others, right, when we're talking about $70 million. But the one that is also, I call it a game changer, is we all know where our Commons is now. It's associated with that Kerwin-Blanding Towers. The university has not made a decision of what's going to happen to those towers as it relates to their physical presence. The university has made a decision that we will start transitioning students from living in that environment starting next year and the year after. So our students, as you know, will walk to and through to get to their dining options. A lot of students don't like to walk back. And so the location of Commons is going to be a challenge for us from a physical standpoint, the current Commons, when all of our students are going to be living in Woodland Glen, in the new Woodland Glen, as well as Central Hall 1 and 2 and Hagen Hall. So how do we better respond to those students? A $32 million, ground-up, 80,000 square feet dining facility. Are you familiar with where the fraternity houses used to be? Some people refer to it as, and I'm trying to stop saying it, Jay, the six-pack. Are y'all familiar with that? So in that six-pack, it's now down to a two-pack. Hopefully one day it's going to be a zero-pack. But we are going to build, Aramark's going to build, our partner, together with us, a new Commons on that location. We would break ground this fall, and no matter what our architects say, right, we're going to open it next fall. We're going to move fast and build a quality product, but have a game changer for the University of Kentucky and our dining program. So not only on that first floor will it be our dining space, that's where the Panera goes, that's where some retail options, we get a longer ability to serve our students in other times, a little different than maybe the traditional close at 7 or 8 kind of thing. How can we go to a longer service opportunity, especially on the retail side? On the second floor of the new Commons, we're going to have some spaces that support our living learning programs, some faculty offices, some classrooms, so some real opportunities with this new Commons. So in summary, what is that investment? If we sum those first three numbers, the $40 million, the $12.6 million, the $17.34 million, that gets to that $70 million that I just spoke about. So it's 40 in new facilities, 12.6 in existing facilities, 17 million in contingency. So it's not just about how we change our facility environment today, but how do we ensure that we're able to manage that and continue to change that over the course of many years of our partnership. And lastly, there's about 14.5 million of cash within this contribution of investment, $1 million contribution from Aramark to the scholarship fund of the university. The academic partnership that I've already mentioned. Patterson Hall, let me come back to that. Athletics. Athletics is a part of this. So our concessions operation will be part of our dining environment. So UK Dining will also manage and run the concessions operation in our athletic venues. We hope that transition will take place over this summer as well and begin for this fall. We will purchase, Aramark will purchase the food truck, about 7 golf carts, that's referenced here. And lastly, Aramark will make a contribution, a little bit over $10 million to the university for Patterson Hall. So on our north side, we're removing some of those buildings, of course, that weren't conducive to the living learning experience and building some new ones. But we decided, because of the historical meaning of Patterson Hall, and what I mean by that, it was the first female residence hall on the campus, that we were going to keep Patterson. But we did not have a plan to how we were going to fund a renovation to, quote, keep it. So Aramark, seeing this as an opportunity and seeing this as an opportunity for our living learning programs, our living environment for our students, is going to make a contribution to the university that we are in turn going to use to renovate and bring Patterson Hall back as our living learning support building for faculty as well as classrooms on the north side of campus. So we get one in the new Commons, the living learning support, as well as on the north side of campus for the living learning at Patterson Hall. So the third component of an evaluation is also in the area of return, or the commissions that are provided to the university. So just briefly, I did want to share this. When we talk about the return to the university, these are guaranteed commissions, $112 million over the course of 15 years, nearly 96 to the university campus rather, and 16.5 to the athletic component of the university. We also, as y'all know, there's significant food rebates in a food purchasing environment. So Aramark will pay us, we project $5.9 million of that rebate share, about 2% of food purchases. Additionally, $7.9 million of programmatic investment. What I mean by that, one is that academic partnership, that $250,000 a year, $250,000 a year, as well as we wanted to make sure that all the great relationships and commitments that y'all have made to various areas of the campus, supporting Move-In Day, or supporting student government activities, or supporting presidential activities. How do we ensure that we're able to continue to do those things, as well as have some opportunities to do more? So we've carved out more than $100,000 a year that will be utilized for us to continue to support those activities as we go through the next 15 years of our partnership. So the total return is $126 million. The term, we asked for responses to the RFP looking at a 10-year and a 15-year term. The 15-year term was much more advantageous to the university for the level of investments and facilities that we needed. And so we will sign this week, our president will sign a contract for a 15-year term with our new dining partner. So in summary, what is that financial summary? It's $245 million over 15 years. It's that 84.6 in investment we've talked about, 126, excuse me, in returns, and nearly or approximately 34.5 in reimbursed expenses. Reimbursed expenses represent utilities, POS fees to our CS Gold system in the Plus Card office, as well as some funds for maintenance of equipment that can be utilized over the term. So the utilities for the buildings that our partner occupies, for UK Dining occupies, those funds will be returned to the university. I think these 3 bullet points are critical. So clearly from a financial standpoint, it's a very good partnership for the university. But the most important considerations were those program considerations. They were more important. We did program first, financial second. We will work with our partner to build that best environment. This is not outsourcing. Outsourcing is you enter into an agreement, a financial contract primarily, and then you forget about it. The university is going to actively manage this relationship. The university will have a full-time dining liaison. That person's job will be thinking about this relationship and working with our partner in a collaborative way to achieve all of these things we just discussed on a daily basis. The folks that I work with and my team, as well as teams across the institution, whether it's student affairs, whether it's the office of the president, and so on, are going to have a keen eye on this relationship as well as what we're going to produce. I have 100% confidence in our partner and in you, and what you have done thus far and what we're going to do. So I look forward to working with you. I look forward to talking with you. I look forward to what we're going to do, and now to give you the tools that you need and that we need to build the best environment for our student success, and that's what we're going to do. So I thank you. I appreciate very much your patience throughout this very long process. I do believe we have achieved a wonderful outcome for the university, for you, as well as our students. So let me turn this over now to 2 people that have been instrumental in us getting to this day, and without their assistance and help, we wouldn't be here. That's Bill Harris, our Chief Procurement Officer, as well as Penny Cox, who runs our housing as well as our dining implementation and does a number of other things for this university. So let me turn it over to Penny and to Bill.
Thank you for your patience during this 20-month process that we've gone through. I know I want to echo what Eric has said about the teamwork and the tremendous amount of focus groups, and your feedback really helped us to craft a contract that will support student success. And this last month, it feels like we've been on a speed bullet train in Europe or something. I mean, from May 9th to June 10th, we really have been heavily engaged with the Aramark team, and I will say that they have been phenomenal in terms of the collaboration and looking at what our facilities are like, but also providing opportunities for our employees. And so I want to recognize some of them, but before I do that, I'm going to let Bill talk a little bit about procurement.
I would just like to reiterate what Penny said, and, excuse me, during the last few weeks, we've been heavily involved in negotiations with Aramark, and I appreciate their approach. It has in no way been acrimonious. It's been a very cooperative and collaborative process, and I'm confident that they will continue that as we go through the implementation of UK dining. So I appreciate their efforts, and I look forward to continue to work with you.
Okay. I want to recognize a couple of folks. Number one is Katie Lasley. Katie is here from Human Resources. She is the Executive Director for Operations in HR, and so she has been integral in terms of coordination with the HR component of Aramark. And so we will have today 4 sessions. The first one will be for the frontline, or the managers. The second session will be for the frontline folks, and then we'll have 2 additional sessions that will be for individuals who are in the units. So 4 opportunities today to have discussions directly with HR and with Aramark. Katie will be involved with that. As this slide says, we are UK Dining. That logo is something that I think we all wear very proudly, and I know that there's a great deal of brand and significance to that, and we expect our students to really be supportive of the transition. Before I get off the stage, I want to introduce 3 people from Aramark. First is Dan Palumbo. Dan is the VP for Operations for Aramark Higher Education. He's been the one here on campus since May 9th, working with us in terms of all the tasks and all the transition issues that have to take place. And so we've been very much connected in terms of he's been the point of contact for Aramark. I've been the point of contact for UK on transition issues. Bill has been the contract person. So we've had a lot of time to spend together, and I know that you'll find him to be as friendly and supportive as I have during this time. The other person is Cora Lee. Cora Lee is the HR support person with Aramark, and she will have a lot of involvement over these next months in terms of discussions with our current full-time staff, but more importantly, our students. They have some letters ready to go out to the students. We know that we're going to need over 450 students this fall, and then our steps and individuals that will be transitioning as well. So the third person is Tony. Where's Tony? Tony Paragoni. He is from Kentucky. He is a farmer in Kentucky, and I want to give him a lot of credit for some of the vision for what Eric talked about in terms of that academic partnership and the engagement with our College of Agriculture. So that's the team that we've been working with. Dan will introduce the rest of the team, and I'll turn it over to you guys.
You know, just, I've got a couple of thoughts, and as we go through the rest of this process, we're going to see a video when I close. Cora's going to have a few remarks and talk about the day, and we're going to talk about some of the programs a little more in detail. But just a couple things. One, Penny, I appreciate your comments, and Eric, sure, about the comment that you made about calling us colleagues and partners. And that means a lot. We are not a vendor. We don't want to be looked at as a vendor. and we appreciate the partnership that we've had so far and a collaborative approach in coming to agreement. So, you know, it's been I will say, I think I told Bill Harris yesterday, it's just been a tremendous experience. Sometimes these can be, you know, pulling a lot of teeth, right, but not in this particular case. We're so happy to be here and so happy that you've, you know, given us your trust this early in the stage and partnerships. That means a lot, so thank you very much. A couple things I want to mention. I want to talk a little bit about Aramark, right? Not a lot, because we're going to talk a little about Aramark today, but we're UK Dining. And that's why we're going to leave it at that after this particular day. But I also want to talk about our commitments to you and our commitments to the university. And then I do have an ask. And then I'll close, and then I'll turn it back over, watch a video, Cora, right? And then we're going to have a break first. Okay, very good. So a couple things. Yes, Aramark. First of all, a show of hands. You know, before 6 months or a year ago, who's heard of Aramark or knows a little bit about Aramark? Just about everybody. You've probably Googled it, and you've figured out that we're in a lot of venues, sports and entertainment arenas, healthcare facilities, higher education, K through 12 units. So yes, it is a large corporation, and it's a worldwide corporation. But what comes with that? Well, first of all, a lot of good things. There are some systems, there are processes, there are tools, and also it comes with, you know, purchasing options, you know, purchasing power and additional purchasing options. So just a couple things. Let's talk about the tools. Point of sale, right? Register systems. Some of you might be a little frustrated with some of your register systems sometimes. Am I right? We're going to be investing in all new point of sale systems. So that's just one. Safety. Safety is a big concern of ours. We want the people we work with to come to work and leave work in the same shape that they were when they arrived. So safety, I will tell you, is our primary concern. It doesn't matter to us whether you're on the university's payroll or you're on our payroll. So we're investing in safety shoes, safety equipment, cut gloves, everything we can do to keep you and the rest of the staff safe. So that's a big commitment of ours. So let's talk about, you know, outside of the big corporation, how do we operate when it comes at the local level? First of all, I told you we dropped the moniker Aramark. You're not going to see Aramark on uniforms. You're not going to see them on trucks. You're not going to see anything on any promotional material on the campus. Again, we are UK Dining. So that's our commitment. And I was asked I was actually on Monday night by a board member. They said, you know, Tony, what's the one thing you see, the most important thing you see, or the greatest thing you see about the current dining program? And my answer was the employees. So it means a lot. You know, we've been on this campus, and quite frankly, I've been in blue jeans on this campus and a polo shirt many times over the last couple of years. I've eaten in all the facilities. I've watched, and I would tell you the engagement we have with the students, the engagement you have had with the students and the faculty and staff is second to none. And we definitely want to continue that and appreciate what you've been doing and want to build upon that. So that's very, very important for us. So I mentioned I was going to tell you what our commitment was. I gave you a couple, right? They were already in safety. They were already in some of the tools and procedures that we're going to follow. But a couple things. First of all, we're going to respect the history of the university, and we'll respect the history that you have in your relationships with the university and the students. Second, we're going to listen. Eric talked a minute ago about, you know, meetings and one-on-one meetings. And there's an opportunity to say, hey, we're not going to guarantee certain schedules, or, you know, there are going to be some changes for some, but that's not unlike any job, right? But we're going to listen. We're going to hear what your concerns are, we're going to hear what your wants are, and we're going to hear what your needs are. So I'm committing to you today that we're going to do that. I'm also committing to you that we're going to be fair and we're going to be consistent. I think that's something that you would ask of anybody, of your, your existing management team and of us, and you've got my commitment that we're going to do that. So what are my asks? I'm going to ask that you also are open to listening. I'm going to ask that you're open to learning, new trainings, new systems, new food management processes. And I'm going to ask that you're open to change. We're going to help you. We're going to listen. We're going to work with you. But we've got to have a two-way street here. So those are my big asks. And make no mistake about it, we need you. We have to have you. We have to work as a partnership right from day one. If we're going to hit the ground running, when the student, not only, well, I say the students come back to school, but even on July 1, to maintain what we're doing in our camp business, maintain what we're doing in our retail business today, but we've got to get ready. You just saw from Eric on that screen. There's a lot to do. There's new concepts coming to this campus. There's training in those concepts that has to be done, and it has to be done very, very rapidly. So I'm going to ask you if you're open to we need you to be open to change and keep an open, keep an open look. So I've got a saying that I use sometimes, and I say, I ask that you try not to prove it won't work. I'm asking you to say, how do we make it work? Okay? So I want to say, let's work together. Let's get it done together. We will. And let's create that student experience, not just in programmatic changes, but, in our engagement with students. And let's work together to make that happen and continue to build on what you guys have done for many, many years. So, Elizabeth, I think you heard me. I met Elizabeth out in the hallway a minute ago. I hope you understand. I hope you understand that we are people. We're not a big corporation. We're just like you. And by the way, don't be scared of Big Dan Palumbo. He is an ex-offensive lineman, yes, but he is a teddy bear. So, and in our great team, we got a lot of our transition team here today, and I appreciate what they've done and the efforts they've done. And you're going to find out very quickly that we're here to work with you. So, thank you very much.